In this video, I'm going to talk about formula fields, what they are, how they work, and a couple of cool examples. So what is a formula field? Well, a formula field is a database field where the value is not manually entered, but is calculated based on the ingredients in the formula. This means it can't be adjusted by a user. If you create a formula field and save it, then it'll be calculated for every entity in the database. And then if the ingredients change, the value will be updated for the affected entities. The user can't do anything about that. Now, one thing worth saying is formula fields can only make use of information in the entity or related entities. By that I mean, if you have a project database, you can't make use of information in the salary database if the project database isn't linked to the salary database. But even more specifically than that, if the project database was linked to the task database and project A was linked to tasks 1, 2, and 3, then the calculation of a formula for project A will make use of fields belonging to project A and fields belonging to task 1, 2, and 3, but it can't make use of other field values from other entities in the projects or task database. So in other words, the formula tasks.sum effort is telling you that you want to know for that project the total of all the effort from the linked tasks, not all the tasks in the database. Now, what are the cool things you can do with formulas? Well, here's a couple of neat tricks. You could create a formula which generates a unique identifier. You can do this by taking the public ID, which is a unique value for every entity in a database, and then doing zero padding. That is, putting a string of zeros at the front and then stripping out the rightmost number of characters. So this guarantees you've got a fixed length number string. And then if you want, you can preface it with some code to indicate the type. Another thing you could do is to calculate the last day of the month. It might be a bit difficult to work out, well, is the last day of the month the 30th or the 31st, or even in February it might be the 28th or the 29th. What you can do is simply calculate the first day of the next month and then subtract a day, and that will always get you the last day of the month. It might be useful, for example, in the finance department. Finally, you could use formulas to calculate in a self relation a string that represents the position of an entity in a tree hierarchy. In other words, grandparent, parent, child. You might want to show, if you like, the breadcrumbs where this child sits in the hierarchy. And to do that, you would have the formula referring to itself. Now, this is only possible if you first create the formula and save it with the right data type, and then reference it, because you can't reference a formula until it at least exists for the first time. Anyway, drop us a line if you're having any issues with your formulas, or head on over to our community and share cool ideas you have for using formulas.